watching the Go Crying to Walk In podcast. I am Chef Cholo, and you already know. As usual, we are powered by Hospitality News Magazine and Hospitality News Magazine Online. If you want to have your finger on the pulse of everything hospitality, whether it's an event, a show opening, a new piece of equipment, look no further than Hospitality News. And again, if you like anything that you're watching, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, and share it to anybody you think that would be interested. Today's guest is a very interesting cat from the North Fork. Owns a company called the North Fork Chocolate Company. Am I right?
That's it.
His name is Chef Steve Amaral. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Good.
Wow, you're an interesting guy, brother. I've been doing a little reading about you. Grew up in a farm in Massachusetts. What does that mean? A real farm?
Poultry, yeah.
Poultry.
Thousands of chickens.
Thousands.
Yeah.
That was your dad's business. That's what you did.
Grandpa.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
Still existing today?
No.
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 But in the day, it was happening. You know, catching eggs, catching chickens.
Wow. People do it on their own now. Got a couple chickens in the backyard.
Yeah, it's a good business, you know.
It's good to eat eggs like that anyway. Big difference in that egg.
Big. I had an Italian guy, Celestino Drago from L.A. He came out to my kitchen one day. He said, this is back using organic eggs, you know, free range and stuff. He said, Steve, how come your eggs are so yellow? That's the way my grandpa did them, you know? Yeah, if you always use those, big difference. Pasta, everything's so good, man.
What about, you know who Dan Barber is? He's a chef.
Yeah, up in
Blue Hill.
Yeah, Blue Hill. I don't know him, but
No, I mean you know of him, right?
He's doing right.
I see on his Instagram. They'll feed chickens like dried pepper all year long, and they have like this red yolk that comes in the
how
thing.
cool is
It's wild,
that?
bro. Yeah, it's wild. It's pretty hip, man. Yeah, it's pretty hip.
Yeah.
Like crushed, like I don't know, like dried peppers in the food. You know what I mean? The yolk is pure red.
That's wild.
Interesting guy, Dan Barber. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting guy. So you're working on a poultry farm. You going to regular high school.
Yeah, regular high school.
You cooked as a kid or no? Cooking was your thing?
Sicilian.
You had to cook.
Got no choice.
Yeah.
You got to do.
Right, Dominic?
Why?
So it was in your blood. You lived, like, your grandparents lived together with you?
He had his, well, my parents' house was on a piece of farmland, and they were 2 streets over, you know, across the chicken.
Close.
Yeah, right there. He took care of us, you know, when the parents went to work.
Right. You learned to cook from your grandparents or your grandmother?
That was my Portuguese grandparents who owned the chicken farm.
Uh-huh.
My Sicilian mom, she's the one.
She taught you to cook.
Yeah, it's like kind of a necessity.
So when did you decide to go to cooking school? Right out of high school or no?
Yeah, we're sitting in the parking lot hanging out with the boys, you know, and one of my friends, he worked at Ma Raffa's. It was, you know, small town in Cushnet, Mass. And him and a couple other guys going, yeah, we're going to culinary. We're going to Johnson & Wales because it's only 30 minutes from our house.
Right near the house, yeah.
Yeah, so I said, I told my parents, I said, I'm going to Johnson & Wales, man. Because I was already working at a Chinese restaurant at that time. I was working in a short order cook in a other place, and working at a place like, you know, in your county, unloading flower cars.
Right. All as a kid.
Yeah.
So constantly inside that little world.
Always, yeah, working at.
How'd you like the experience at Johnson & Wales? Good? Full university up there. You got to take regular classes.
Yeah, it wasn't so intense in that regard. I mean, one thing about Johnson & Wales, if you went, there was a trimester, so you went all year round.
Yeah.
For the 2 years, if you're just taking culinary.
Yeah, CIA, same thing. That's
Yeah, and you had to have a job.
You had to work while you were there.
We had to put so much hours working, yeah.
Is that right? That was part of the program.
Prior program.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
They give you Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. You got to go get a job.
And you got to go to job, and you had to like report to school about your job.
Yeah, I had to do all that stuff.
A little book report or anything.
Yeah, just they want to see the hours.
Right on. So you graduate college, and then I also read you did some apprenticeship in France.
Yeah, at Roger Verger.
Right out of college.
No, that was years later. I was out of college. I worked for a chef down in Texas. He recruited me. He was Marriott Hotels, and he was going to teach me management training.
Wow.
So I did that. Yeah, that was a good part of the whole. I was doing storeroom, and I had a job cooking at the Hilton next door in a French restaurant. But
So you were learning management like right firsthand from somebody.
Yeah, all the specs and all.
Now, where in Texas?
Houston.
Houston. So it was like, what was Houston like in the early 80s?
That was pretty crazy coming from Massachusetts.
I was going to say,
pretty
right?
redneck.
It was pretty redneck, bro.
Good thing I grew up.
I mean, and even Houston today is not like
my
Houston
God, we got
then.
in big trouble a little bit. You know, me and my bud were down there. You know, his dad was a cop in Massachusetts, and we were in a bar one night, and he was mouthing off to some Texas Ranger, you know.
Texas Ranger, not just a regular cat. Texas Ranger.
He's a big boy. He went flying out the door in his ass, but it was cool.
Things happen.
It happens. He learned fast, but it was a good experience. Yeah.
So, like, what inspired you to like want to go? I mean, you obviously had wings. You obviously were not meant to stay in one place.
No, never.
But what makes a young person want to just go to France and like apprentice and stage? Like somebody influenced you on that?
Well, after Houston, there was a chef who came through that one kitchen, and he was from Germany. He was a German guy. In those days, it was all European chefs.
Absolutely.
You remember that? You
Absolutely.
couldn't get it. You know, there was no.
No, I mean, when I went to CIA, we were still taught like we had to take French because they were like, if you're going to have a fancy restaurant, you're going to have a French menu.
Yeah, back in the day, right?
That was it. That's what they told you. You weren't going to have just a fancy restaurant without French written on it.
Exactly.
Je go and you. So here we are, a bunch of maniacs sitting there,
dude.
and they just taught us like 10 French words, barely conjugating things, and she would just yell it at us, and we'd have to like say it back all day. Accent aigu, accent. I remember like a couple of things. It was maddening.
It's crazy, right?
It was maddening, but that's what they figured it was going to be. So all the teachers were, European. There were no American teachers at that school then.
Never. So
things changed.
Yeah. So the German chef comes in. He don't speak any English. He only speaks German and Mexican, Spanish.
Get out of here.
Yeah, because he was down in Acapulco. So he came to the kitchen. I'm doing the purchasing, and he couldn't make heads or tails of the tickets on the line. So whenever he got slammed, I would go over to help the cooks out.
Help him read.
He wouldn't even come over. I just help
do it.
expedite, because that's what we're trained to do. So
fix holes.
So he remembered that. I quit. I went to another place, and he calls me, I don't know, about a year later and says, hey, Steve, what are you doing? I said, you still working for Marriott? He said, yeah. I said, well, I'm not going there. And he said, no, I'm working for Marriott in Hawaii, and I want you to come out here and work with me. I said, well, I'm not cooking that food. he said,
like, what food was that? What are you referring
to? It's hotel
to?
food, man.
Hotel food, yeah. You can't dig it.
No. So he said, no, this is Marriott International. We make our own recipes. We do what we want. I said, when you want me there? He said, yesterday. I said, be there tomorrow.
No way.
Yeah, 1981.
Wings,
I went.
That's it. You just go, brother.
Nowhere in Massachusetts. I'm flying to Maui. Hello. I'm going.
You can dig it. What's it like living in Hawaii as a cook?
I was 21 years old when I got there. I was a sous chef at night.
Didn't have a lot of free time, probably though.
Oh yeah, Matt. Hotel like that, you work your 8 hours.
You work. That's it, huh?
Yeah.
And you get to experience.
I bought me a Jeep.
Really?
Fun, yeah.
I like it. Learn how to surf.
Yeah, boogie board, surf, man. I don't know. Italians ain't good at surfing, man.
You break a leg. Couldn't go to work the next day. No good.
Okay.
So
it was fun.
So talk to me about. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to just do a little segue into this, but people don't realize that growing up, as a younger person, there was no food channel. There was nothing visual for us to watch. There was no social media, but there was one thing, and there was the Great Chefs, program, and it was on PBS, and PBS wasn't something that you opened up a TV guide and you knew when it was going to be. You'd be like going through the channels, and it would be on, right, Dominic?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I read you were like in '95. I mean, I don't remember any of that, but you had a spotlight on your hotel or on you as a chef.
Me as a chef.
Wow, what was that like, brother?
It was pretty cool, man. That was when the whole regional cuisine thing was going on, right. And there's the Hawaiian regional chefs. And,
right. This is before Nouvelle Cuisine, really, before that movement in New York or anything, or Alice Waters or anything like that.
No, this was Alice Waters was kind of pioneer of that stuff, I believe.
Okay.
And Nouvelle was
like Wolfgang Puck and young Tom Colicchio and these guys.
Yeah, that was after the French figured it out.
Right.
They started charging more money for smaller portions, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was,
okay. All right.
That was their thing. But anyway, so yeah, it was pretty cool, and they liked my what I was doing there, because I turned the whole property into a tropical like fruit
Like
stand. Yeah,
local
it
ingredients.
was all like I had. Well, that's not supposed to happen. Sorry.
Was that a duck, chef?
Yeah.
Not bad.
So anyway.
Hey, it's your boy Chef Cholo from the Go Crying to Walk In podcast. And if you're like me, you yearn for that old school relationship between purveyors and chefs. Nowadays, they got me going on a website, looking up my own orders, placing my own orders. I don't even know if the thing's going to get delivered the next day. I got nobody to talk to. If you're looking for that old school service with aggressive pricing, look no further than American Food Connection. What you do is you call the number at the bottom of the screen, you ask for Danny, and you get it straight. You already know.
So anyway,
It's the first time we had a phone go off on the Go Crying to Walk In podcast now.
Yeah, those crazy chefs. Well, no, it was off, dude. It was off. It was on airplane mode.
Dude, you like it must be your wife. Are you married?
No. No, my wife is married.
Your wife's married?
No, I'm not married.
I'm only kidding.
No, I'm not married.
He's a free man, Dominic. Free man.
So, yeah, we had a whole citrus grove, every type of tropical
On property.
fruit. Yeah, because I worked for a developer, and we used to be at the construction trailer with the GM, myself, because I was in charge of food and beverage too, and a sales guy, and the chief engineer. And
This is at a young age, you know?
Well, that's when I went back. First, I had left Maui in '84 to go backpack Europe for a couple. I took a Eurail pass.
Right on.
And did because I asked my chef. I said, Chef, I want to go to Europe and learn. Because like you said, there was no place to look, right?
Nope.
So I went and got a Euro pass for a couple months, and I ended up staying in, did all of Europe. I went from Paris to all the way down to Nice, and then Monaco, all the way back up to Amsterdam. Have to go to Amsterdam.
Gotta go to Amsterdam.
And then you come back, and I'm like, where am I? 2 months almost over.
Now Amsterdam's in everybody's town.
Yeah, it's true. So true.
Now you don't gotta go to Amsterdam.
Yeah, exactly. He came here. And so
He came to us.
It came to us. So I ended up staying in Nice. We rented a flat.
Got a job.
14 francs to the dollar.
Wow.
That was good, man.
To the dollar.
Yeah, it was cool.
Nice.
Stayed there for a while.
And big time chefs, or just like the Michelin star people at that time you were working with, or no?
No, it was the second time I went back.
Second time you went back.
That time I was just doing dishware because I didn't speak the language.
You couldn't really speak, right?
We were taking classes. We went to Alliance Française and we went to learn to speak French.
Accent aigu.
Accent aigu. But it was mostly like I had worked my tail off to get the money to go there. I was teaching at the Maui Community College. It was called
cooking stuff, or like
yeah, teaching, and I would hire that was part of the gig. I would get to hire my
what was the biggest
students.
challenge living in like Hawaii? Financial is tough to buy things and whatever. I've heard things like that.
It was expensive.
Yeah, to live.
Yeah, expensive. When I first got there, we were living college style. It was five people in a
potato chip
bedroom.
sandwiches.
Yeah,
I get it.
Lots of rice.
Even at culinary school, we made potato chip sandwiches. You believe it or not, Dominic?
With pickles.
With pickles, yeah. You got to make stuff in your room.
You got to.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? So, 2000, you come back to here to New York. You come back to Long Island. Is that one about that? Am I right about that?
I went back to hang out with my brother in Boston for a little while. Left Maui, and that's how I got out in Long Island. I was doing a lot of consulting business. Back then, consulting for the Inequag. I was consulting for a company called Vinny Testers in Boston.
Oh yeah, cool spot, Vinny Testers. Yeah.
Yeah, and they wanted to go public, so they wanted me to create some positions for them to do that.
Okay, cool.
And
came here and opened up a catering company in the 2000s, I think, right? 2010, I read.
2001, 2002, around there.
Right.
Started Black Tie Caterers.
Black Tie Caterers still exists today.
Yeah.
So let's cut to the chase now, Steve. You're obviously a wickedly accomplished chef, and now you have this chocolate business, and I don't want to say like a chocolate business like my aunt has grandma's chocolate, which is a big business. Believe me, they made a ton of bread, but all they do is buy chocolate, chocolate that doesn't really taste like chocolate, and make bunnies and penises and then boobies and whatnot.
Yeah, they got the whole thing.
Dom, you got the booby cake, right? You want the coconut on the bottom, right? You wanted the actual hair-looking one, right? Dom got the booby cake. But no, really, seriously. So you're like the guy on Ross Kitchen. You're like the guy in Jamaica that takes the cocoa, the fruit, the actual thing. Explain to us this, sir. We need to know.
Oh, so what happens is we get our main supplier of cacao is from Ecuador.
Ecuador.
It's organic, and we get to get cacao fruit and make it from that, like piles of like bananas or orange or something. It's not practical,
Right on.
Because they have to ferment it and dry it in the sun first before it becomes actually chocolate.
Before you could like make a chocolate with it.
Basically, it's like a fruit.
It is a fruit, right? Soft, right?
It's like the seed and this pulp around
I
it.
mean, I've seen people eat it. Like,
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
is it really good?
Yeah, we get the pulp and we get the seed.
That comes in like frozen.
It comes in little, like applesauce for kids in the squeezy tubes.
Yeah, like that.
One of them. Yeah.
Okay,
Something
like
that.
tamarind or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like tamarind, actually. Not as
Right.
bitter, not as tangy.
Right, but
But
it has like a little pit on the inside.
Yeah, and it's actually something outside too. But we take the husks off them, called winnowing, and then we roast them.
In an oven or like that's from the sun?
No, they're pre-sunned. They got the sun
Before
on
you get it.
before I get it, and it has a little shell on the inside. You've seen cocoa nibs before,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah. So we remove that husk.
I put them in my smoothie.
So
Cocoa
good,
nibs.
right? So good, right?
Very good, yeah.
Very good. Healthy.
Yeah,
of
recently I
flavonoids.
grabbed a hold of my health. I lost a lot of weight the last couple of years. So
Congrats.
some things like that. You want to have something sweet. You want to have something, different. So
Yeah.
cacao actually works in a lot of ways for that.
Yeah, it
I like
does.
it. Now, I see you were like one of the first guys to partake in what they call the Stony Brook incubator. Is that right?
We were one of the initial. We were the maiden voyage of that.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I
So we
heard.
started. My partner Ann and I. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And explain to us, what is an incubator? What does that mean?
At first, I thought they were accelerating protons and neutrons, but that wasn't the case.
That wasn't it.
That wasn't it. I
I
drove
was
by
wondering if
there.
there was like little chickens in a fucking with a light on top.
Everybody
You know
else
what I
said-
mean? That's all I know about an
Little-
incubator, right,
little-
Dominic?
Little pine shavings. Yeah.
Yeah, the babies that didn't get the babies that aren't ready yet. They gotta like wait a little bit. There's like a spot you gotta hang out.
It's basically a share kitchen.
It's a place where guys can go. Now, that's rent free or no?
No, they
No.
charge it by the hour. Yeah.
By the hour. But you were able to really launch a business through a program like that.
And we were the first graduates to go to our first.
To go from there to a brick and mortar.
Yeah, we ended up in a pop-up in Tanger outlets
In the mall.
across from McDonald's.
Right across from McDonald's.
Gaddy
I
corner.
don't think I can remember that. I really don't like going to Tanger
It was
Mall
It
too
was a
much.
short stint.
It was
know?
quick.
Yeah, it was quick. It was profitable, but because because we weren't a large corporation,
Right.
that they needed that space filled momentarily, temporarily. So we ended up.
But then Nike wanted to move in, and that was it.
Yeah,
Prada.
Sometimes.
There's a lot of action out of that thing over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I realized how much people really want their French fries though.
Oh my God.
To get lines.
It's not even a good food court in that one over there. It's really not good. Past McDonald's is not. There's like a
No.
fake pizza and a fake Mexican guy and a bad Chinese guy.
Yeah, it's true.
But I always wondered why they didn't try and emphasize on food in those places, because you see malls. That's it. A
Right.
mall is where you go to eat now.
Exactly.
You see like the good
Even the airport.
fucking airport. Forget about it. I mean, you've been to the mall in Garden City, whatever whatever that big mall is, Roosevelt Field Mall.
Crazy.
They got Big Tom. They got everybody out there. Mike, why everybody's out there doing
Everybody.
their thing.
Everybody.
Heavy, man, heavy.
Yeah.
You can't. Everybody buys their clothes online. I guess they just eat in the mall now, but not at the Tanger. They got the cookie guy though, cookie dealer. I seen him out there. So the Long Island Food Council, were they involved in that incubator at that time? No.
No.
That's new. That's a newer group of
That's
guys. I know.
new,
I see
yeah.
them involved in that.
Yeah.
And now also so explain to us. So you're making chocolate. So is there dairy involved when you make chocolate? Do you have to use milk? Do you have to use cream?
Well,
Or butter?
if you're making the bars, no. A lot of our chocolate bars are vegan, the dark chocolate.
So vegan chocolate, no butter.
No, just sugar. Our organic bars are just organic sugar and organic cacao. That's it.
So how do they like? So if a regular chocolate has butter or say animal product in it, like how do you don't replace it to make the vegan? Like, do you notice a difference of eating a vegan chocolate?
No, because dark chocolate has always been just milk chocolate is a different story.
Milk chocolate's different, right?
Yeah, and then our bonbons we make, they all have ganache in them,
Which has dairy, right?
Yeah, chocolate, cream, and butter.
And butter.
Yeah.
All the most beautiful things in the world.
Top 3 food group.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And do you try and use like local ingredients when it comes to that, like local dairies and things like that?
Well, the dairy is not really happening out here.
Not really, right?
No, but we do use local ingredients like local honey, local bourbon, local wines, local beer, local, and all.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you do with beer and chocolate? What do you do with
We
that?
make a ganache.
Make a ganache.
Yeah, to make ganache with something like fruit, we start with we make a fruit de pâté with it, and then we incorporate it, so it's really intense flavor.
Yeah, super, super high intense.
Yeah.
Wow. What's your favorite thing you're doing out there right now?
So we started a vegan menu in our shop downtown Riverhead, vegan food, vegetarian.
Oh, in the chocolate store, or
in our kitchen.
So you mean like regular savory foods and things like that?
We make a grilled cheese waffle. We make.
I saw your waffle thing. It looks heavy.
Waffles are great. Yeah, waffles are cool.
What makes these waffles so fire?
We make a yeast raised liege batter.
Yeah. So it's like crispy on the outside too.
Yeah.
Like that sugary thing.
Yeah, we make the sugar ones and then we make the savory ones.
And the savory.
Yeah,
ones
the sugary ones, the caramelized a little bit. That's good stuff.
Well, there's actually some places, some stands in like Manhattan that do a good job.
Yeah.
There's that one guy in Bryant Park. He does a good job with that. Yeah, my kids can't get away from waffles. That's their favorite thing.
So we have those all day, and the savory menu, and it's catching on because there's not many alternatives. I'm vegetarian.
Yeah.
Pretty close to vegan, but not because I have to taste the dairy stuff we make. But other than that, there's no place to go for us to go out and eat. So
out there, really, not like that.
No, not if we want a vegetable platter and some baked potatoes. Have a salad on top of your salad.
When I first started doing large scale catering at across Hollow, I would see, I was just watching, you know what I mean? And, there was the occasional vegan, at the corporate party. And, the cooks would be like, oh, this is what we do. You know what I mean? It's just another plate of grilled vegetables. That's the only thing they got to eat at the cocktail hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we started to develop things, full plant proteins and something that was wonderful to eat. And the reaction that you get at a corporate event where the guy, again, every time he goes out, because people that attend corporate things, whether it's a networking or something for a hospital or, that's your corporate event, you could go to 3 a week. You know what I mean? Because that's like kind of how they do their business.
Yeah.
So, they put their hand up to the waiter. Oh, can I get the vegan? Another salad came out, or just like I said, more grilled vegetables. So at our place, you could get like Kung Pao cauliflower or something, fun. You know what I mean? Like you're at a party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reaction we get from people, it's one of those things that makes you feel good about what you do in the end. You know what I mean? Because it's simple to understand as a chef, but like when you're not a chef and you don't like worry about food, you're just trying to like that vegan is just a thorn. You know what I mean? It's like the gluten-free guy. You know what I mean? I said to those guys a minute ago, what are you doing with the gluten-free? But for me, it's like I can dig it, like especially if you're a celiac. I mean, those people were suffering their entire life.
Absolutely.
Oh, you have, Crohn's. No, you don't have Crohn's. You have irritable bowel. No, you don't have irritable bowel. And then all of a sudden, they figured out what celiac was. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was all of a sudden, but, it's definitely out there in the forefront now. But you don't have to worry about that. Chocolate doesn't have any grain use or anything in it, wheat or anything. So you don't got to worry about it.
No, not pretty much. We get a lot of people asking, too.
They say, is that gluten-free?
Yeah.
Well, that's the most popular question in America today.
Absolutely.
You know that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They'll call me in a couple. If there was a party at the catering, someone would call me in a minute and ask me whether it was and it was always something that would never obtain wheat. Chef, does the ice cream bonbon have? Is it gluten free? Yes, every day. Same as when you asked me last week, right? So Dominic brought you in. How'd you meet Dominic? You were like working at Eastwood, is that right, Dominic?
Yeah.
That's how you met him?
Yeah.
That was interesting, huh? What year was that?
Stevie, when was that?
That was after Richie Lorelli or before?
No, it was after Richie.
Yeah, Richie was a good guy.
Late.
2009.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And you were still doing your catering at the time, but whatever. Everybody
Yeah.
needs a real job sometimes. What's it like catering out there? You guys do weddings?
Back in the day.
Now you got the store. Now you
Yeah, I don't just do minimal.
Right,
I
like
can't.
offices, stuff like
Drop
that.
offs, yeah.
Drop offs.
Every week I do a drop off or two.
How was COVID for you out there?
Fortunately for us, they deemed chocolate essential.
I saw that. That's awesome, man. So what did that mean? You could like go to work without hiding? Is that what that meant?
You can go with a chocolate rush and a beer on your breath. You're okay.
You were okay. Oh yeah, that was the biggest thing.
And your lottery ticket in your hand.
And a lottery ticket and cigarettes, of course.
Yeah.
Smoking was always a necessity. Yeah, you were allowed to leave a restaurant with a full glass of drink. All of a sudden, it was okay to drive in your car with a glass.
It's all good.
Oh, don't worry about it. Just take it
Yeah.
over on COVID.
As long as you don't have COVID, you're good.
As long as you have the vaccine,
your
you're
Zap,
okay.
and you get your
I see you making ice cream out there now too. Or you buy ice cream, or you making ice cream?
make it.
What's that like?
We've
Not
been
vegan ice cream. You have vegan ice cream too.
We do have some.
What's the base of that? Like almond milk or cashew?
Yeah, we use plant-based milk, and we make sorbetos too.
Right. Oh yeah.
And
There's
so-
not many dairy in it.
But yeah, we don't make right from scratch. Cream.
You can get
milk.
that waffle with the ice cream sandwich.
Yeah,
on it?
yeah. It's
Mm.
good. It's
Oh,
good.
Nick, why didn't we go out there first?
I was out there a month ago with my wife.
Did you have the ice cream sandwich with the waffle? You had he had. We'll have one of everything.
4 pounds the next day.
I went out to eat with Dominic last week. He's like, I'm not going to eat the rest of the day. We didn't even eat that much in comparison. You got any time for television, brother? You watch TV? You watch anything? You don't look like a TV guy.
Never watched television.
Nothing. No movies. What's your favorite movie about our business? Anything? You got one?
Chocolate only because
I knew you were going to say that.
the only part about that movie that struck me was when the wind blew. He went.
You went. You're right.
And that was,
What about Big Night? You never saw Big Night? You remember Big Night? Stanley Tucci? What about that, Dom? It was a great story. It was like he was in Manhattan in the 50s or 40s even maybe. And, super talented chef from Italy comes over here with his brother. They open a restaurant. And, nobody's got a clue about what the guy's doing. You know what I mean? So, the menu says all entrees come with pasta. And the guy orders the gnocchi as his entree. You know what I mean? And the guy's like, well, where's my pasta? The guy's like, no, risotto. The guy ordered the risotto. He goes, where's my pasta with this? He goes, well, you have the risotto. And he's like, no, it says here, all entrees come with pasta. So, Stanley Tucci, he's the front of the house. Guy's got to go tell his brother, the chef. He's like, yeah, the guy wants to pay. He wouldn't do it. You didn't want to give it to him. You know what I mean? It made him crazy. It made him fucking crazy. That was one of my favorites. In the beginning of the movie, Stanley Tucci comes out, opens the restaurant door, smoking a cigarette. And there's 2 planters in front of the door, one on either side of the restaurant. He moves the one planter like 13 times, and it never really moves. You know what I mean? An inch here, an inch there, an inch here. He steps back, he looks at it, he steps back, he looks at it. To me, it was just one of the most killer. It was the best moments I ever saw on in a movie. And it wasn't so much that there was a lot of cooking in the movie. They made the famous timpano, which is the pasta baked in the bowl. Yeah. That was that made the timpano. And Louis Prima was supposed to visit, so that was
Louis Prima, man. He's the
king. Yeah, he was supposed to visit the restaurant, the local, the big restaurateur who was friends with these two, who only would never eat in his own restaurant, would only come eat at this guy because he knew the talent of the chef, but could see nobody came to the place. And the whole thing was around that they were going to invite Louis Prima, and people were going to come in and enjoy this incredible meal from the chef, but they were going to meet Louis Prima, but Louis Prima never shows up. So it turns out to be a dead dog. You know what I mean? And what about QVC? I read on your thing you sell chocolates on QVC. Is that true?
No.
Did I read that? I'm going to scratch that off my list. Anything new coming up for you, brother, that you're really excited about?
Working on a thing with the woman who's supplying our lettuce hydroponically.
The guy that grows vertically in Setauket?
No, there's another person new, Calverton. They're growing it and amazing stuff.
It's happening right now. I'm seeing it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
happening.
like when before the lettuce hits the plate, we cut the little plug off of it, and it's like living lettuce you're getting right there. It's amazing.
You taste the difference? Really,
It's
brother?
like you just picked it out of your own
like you
garden,
just
right?
picked it off the garden.
You know, there's no substitute for that. Those
No,
lawn
absolutely.
clippings you buy with the masculine,
I won't eat it, bro.
you can't. It's
Honestly,
dead.
I only eat romaine lettuce and because to me it tastes that other grassy stuff is bad.
No
man.
bueno.
It's dead, right?
It's dead.
No bueno.
It's dead.
No bueno. One time I visited Seder Farms and did a little work over there. That's a big operation. They're
Yeah,
kinda cool, man.
yeah.
Yeah, she's cool.
I've
And
worked
he's
with
like
her
a
lot.
chef, right?
He was big time chef.
Big time chef.
He was like La Bernardin.
La Bernardin.
No, Lutece.
Luta. I seen him on a tractor when I went out there. The guy was like just driving in the field.
Big deal.
Yeah, he's the real thing.
Yeah.
They do a big job now. Now they're like big enough where I see like Cisco even distributes sat or
They're
baby
everywhere.
arugula and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The bigger
That-
crops.
I used to go right to their farm when back in the early 2000s. I would go right to go pick it up at their farm.
Yeah, you can go right there. I did a photo shoot in the field out there. I have an old
Yeah.
picture of me for a
Yeah.
promo for a restaurant I was doing. They're really
Nice.
cool people.
Really cool.
Paulette,
Paulette.
yeah.
And I can't
Good people.
remember number Uber. No. What was his name?
Helmet or something like that, like real German name,
Yeah.
real German name. But like you
Good
said,
people.
good people, man. I think anybody that's going to dedicate themselves to growing food. Now, I mean, as we know, cooking food is a humble business, but you have to be a special person to go the next level. To be the guy that actually plants it and waits for it to grow and all that. That's got to be a different level, human being.
Yeah, it is.
Right,
Really,
brother?
Certainly.
Yeah,
certainly.
man. Well, I appreciate you coming out here all the way from the North Fork and talking to us today, and
Nice meeting you,
spending
man.
some time, brother.
Sure.
And then me and Dominic are definitely coming out for
Gotta
some
come out.
waffles.
Gotta come out.
Yeah,
You gotta do it.
for sure.
Gotta do
Listen,
it.
brother, all love and respect every time, man. Nice meeting you. Again, you're watching the Go Crying to Walk In podcast. I'm Chef Cholo. You already know, like and subscribe. Thank you.
Cool.